Clap like you know me. My goodness, how are we doing? San Francisco. Where are my actual San Franciscans at? Where are they? Look at that. All right. The rest of you, I assume, traveled just like I did. As Dan mentioned, I traveled from exotic wine country. Anybody ever been to Sonoma County? Anybody ever get out there? Wine country's great. If you haven't been there in a while, highly recommend you go. It's just a great place to just go and escape diversity for a little while. It is... everything just slows down to the speed of white privilege. It's like a home game for me every day. This is good. We're doing. Who's drinking? Make some noise if you're drinking. You have to. You have to. It's 2 drink men. No max, though, so get after it. Make it count. I like it. Yeah, so for those of you that did travel, like if you're from San Francisco, you didn't drive. You probably just like took a hoverboard or a laser rickshaw or whatever it is you guys do out here. The rest of us that drove, consider this the PSA portion of the evening. You know, I was driving along the highways and byways. You know, you see those digital road signs. You know, they tell you everything you need to know when you're driving. You know, like click it or ticket, slow for the cone zone, don't shake your baby, like all the things you need to know when you're driving. And I don't know if you remember, like during the pandemic when it was lockdown, they switched up a little bit. I remember driving to work, and one of the signs said, "If you can read this, you better be essential." A little passive-aggressive, Caltrans, but I feel you. But now we're back to normal. Saw it today, and I thought, like I said, I'd bring it up because we're having our drinks. It says, it's an old classic. Sing along if you know the words. It says, "Buzzed driving is drunk driving." Yeah, you have it memorized like the court ordered you to. I like that. Yeah, so just keep that in mind, right? What they're saying, that CHPC's buzzed and drunk as equivalent. So if you're feeling a little tipsy on the way to your car, do the right thing, come back to the club and have like 6, 7 more drinks. You're gonna get in trouble the same. That's what I'm saying, right? Don't be in jail because you had too much white wine and now you're shard to handle. Get weird, get after it. Make it count. So another sign, I don't know if you guys have seen it, says, "Be alert, pedestrians don't wear armor." A little wordy. Had to slow down to 80 miles an hour to read the whole thing and it bummed me out. It's like, when did they start hiring creative writers for their signs? It's good news for me. I have a creative writing degree and I can't wait for the day that I publish my very first digital road sign. It's going to say, "Don't blow it. Roadhead doesn't count as hands-free." I think it's highly valuable. Safety first. Safety first. I like it. All right, quick. Let's check the temp here. Make some noise if you're vaccinated. Where are my vaccinated people at? Just trying to see how we voted. Yeah, I was one of those nerds. I was on that My Turn page every day, like hitting refresh. Is it my turn, Lord? Is it my turn? And eventually it said, "Yes, Steve, it's your turn. You can get vaccinated at Costco." I was so excited, I didn't even check to see if it was going to be Moderna or Pfizer. Got there was Kirkland's signature, but upside is, came in a 12-pack, I don't need a booster, all right? If you need some, I got some. No, it is fun. It's fun to be out traveling a little bit for comedy. You know, recently did a show in Modesto, California, because my career's taken off. I did so good in this Modesto show, somebody came out of the audience and says, "Hey, you were fantastic. I run a show in Stockton if you're interested." I was like, "Ooh. Let me see if I can fit you in between my Reading and Eureka dates." Reading, Eureka, Stockton. Is this a comedy counter or a suicide note? Good work. Did show up in Oregon. Anybody been to Oregon? Yeah, that's too much for Oregon, really. No, Oregon's funky. Like, there's 2 very specific cultural hemispheres of Oregon, right? Southern Oregon, a little more conservative, got a little State of Jefferson vibe going on. Then you get to Northern Oregon, very liberal, like hyper woke. Like makes the Bay Area look like a Hannity audience kind of woke, right? Like animals should have the right to vote kind of woke. I made the mistake of referring to my dog as a pet, and I thought they were gonna murder me on the spot. "Did you just call your dog the P word?" I'm like, "Well, I don't think so." "Yeah, no, you called it a pet, and that suggests a certain social hierarchy. We're not about that life up here. These are our fur kids and our fur babies." And I was like, "Oh, well, I appreciate the lesson in vocabulary." For the longest time, I thought fur babies is what Italians called their children. I had no idea. Yeah, but Southern Oregon's super conservative. If you've ever crossed the border from California to Southern Oregon, you get greeted by some of the most aggressive, like, pro-life billboards. We're talking like red horror movie font and like high-resolution graphics of aborted fetuses. And I get it. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you to understand the gravity of your decision. I'm the wrong audience. I see that in my peripheral vision. I'm like, kill it! But I just get squeamish. Squeamish, easily stirred. Oh, this is fun. Married people in the house? We still do that here in San Francisco? Yeah. Typically, I ask that question, like, if you count my thruples, but like that's it. Like that's how we do it out here. Yeah, and I've been married for 28 years. Yeah. In consecutive. Yeah, thank you. In addition to that, I have a 28-year-old son. So if you like origin stories in math, you can figure that one out. 28-year-old son, 24-year-old daughter, 23-year-old vasectomy, but I love all three the same. No, it's fun. My son, so he moved out of the house pre-pandemic, right? Like he was about 24 when he moved out, and it was nice though in a way that he was gone because we could kind of stretch out, take over his room, but then he's at that age where you actually like your kid at this point because they're like a person for once, and it's kind of what I'm saying is his weed is better than mine, and I noticed that immediately. Like month 3 of lockdown, and I'm going through my sock drawer looking for shake. Oh, I missed the boy. But it's funny, right? So he was wanted to come over and visit, and we're like, yeah, no. And he, especially the holidays rolled around, he puts my wife and I on a group text, and he's like, hey, really miss you guys. Want to hang out for Christmas? We're like, yeah, it'd be great. Come on over. We'll have a good time. And he's like, is it cool if I bring a guest? We're like, oh, probably not. I just read that Fauci says we need to keep our bubbles tight, so I've been doing Kegels every morning, just trying to. I don't know what that means exactly, but working on my core. And so he's like, well, it's my new girlfriend and she's really special. I'd like for you to meet her. We're like, hey, that'd be great. We could set up a parking lot visit or something. And he's like, well, if it helps, you recently tested negative. I looked at my wife and I said, this is one of the first times that our son's girlfriend has tested negative for anything. This is a big day. We should honor this. We're like, I don't know, we'll think about it, And he's like, okay, well, please do, because if you do decide that she can come over, I'm going to need to warn you in advance so you don't freak out when you see her. You ever get a text so delicious you want to eat it? You're like, what is this warning? What's the problem? I look at my wife, she's like, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, any guesses? I'm like, God, I hope she's a midget. You know what I mean? And selfishly, I just want someone I can make eye contact with. So she's like, you gotta find out. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I was like, hey son, just so you know, we'll talk it over, but if you want to go ahead and prep us now so we can really be prepared, pray about it, that'd be great. And again, he's 24 years old. He's like, okay, well, she's 42. Yeah. I didn't know you could hear someone leave a group text. My wife left that group text aggressively. The phone leapt out of my hand. I didn't even know that was a feature. And she's freaking out. She's just like, no, she can't come over. I'm like, why not? So we might know her. I'm like, that's actually a really good point. Very astute. And then she just starts having a meltdown. She's like, what did we do wrong? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, what did we do wrong as parents? I feel like such a failure that he's seeking the love of somebody so much older. Did I not hug him enough? Did I hug him too much? What's going on? I'm like, honey, I don't think you did anything wrong. She's like, I just feel like I failed. I said, honey, let me tell you something. I know you didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I think you did something right because you are his type. And that's just something they have to deal with for the rest of our life. Hey guys, that's been my time. Give it up for your host, Dan Evan.
Steve Ausburne, everyone. All right.